There you are, you're live.
Okay, thanks, Kayla. Okay, so today is November 9th. It's just around 7:18 p.m. and we're just about to start the BIA meeting tonight. So thank you, all of you participants from the board and also anybody who's watching from home. We appreciate you joining us. We have a fairly short agenda tonight, but we have a lot going on. So we'll try and get through it in a reasonable time. And hopefully we'll be able to cover off everything. So let's get on to the agenda. I'm looking for somebody to make a motion to approve tonight's agenda dated November 9th, 2021 as presented. John, yep. And do I have a seconder? Sarah, and all in favor? I think Jen is probably in favor.
I am, sorry.
Okay, yes, okay, there we go, motion carried, thank you. Okay, it's okay, we got you there. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through any conflict of interest or disclosure of disqualifying interest and the nature thereof. If anybody would like to disqualify themselves from any part of the program on tonight's agenda, just let me know, or if you'd like to disclaim it now, you're welcome to. Okay, so let's get into approval of the minutes for the folks that were in the last meeting on dated October 19th. Can I get somebody to approve the minute? Put a motion forward to approve the minutes for the board meeting October 19th. Jen is going to put the motion forward. And do I have a seconder? Linda, thank you. And all in favor of the approval of the October 19th minutes?
There is one discrepancy here.
Okay.
Regarding the vinegar for the weeds. It's just the way it was captured there. It was actually the it being on back order, which caused it to be forgotten. I just worried that it paints the wrong picture for somebody just reading it.
So it was material. It was the lack of being able to source a certain material, so we weren't able to spray the weeds. Is that maybe more?
Yeah, that was the what caused it in the first place, and then because it went on for a length of time, it got forgotten, unfortunately.
Okay,
but that was the initial. That was the causal.
Okay, so it has not been done then, to the best of our knowledge.
Oh, it has been done.
Has been done, but it was a bit later than we expected. Is that
correct?
Okay. Got it.
Correct.
Okay, so Kayla, if you don't mind just making that small amendment, that would be great.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you. All right, is there anybody else that had any discrepancies or any points of information that they wanted to bring up for the minutes? All right, so we'll go ahead and make the motion to the amended minutes as per John's amendment. Can I get somebody to put the motion forward for the amended minutes? John again, and a seconder, I think, I forget, was it Jen? Yeah, thank you, Jen. And all in favor of passing the amended minutes? Yeah, great, thank you. Okay, so that's passed. Business arising from the minutes number 5 we're at here now, folks. Santa Claus parade. So I think hopefully Sarah might have some information from Natalie on that.
Yeah.
An update if you have one.
Yeah, so all of the permits have been applied for. We have the closure. Just a note, there's been a change to the routing, and I suppose we should have come to the board, but it sort of reflects what happened in 2019 when the Simcoe building was under renovation, and we moved the operations, so the staging area to the arena, and we found the arena and the Legion so much easier. We didn't have to have the police shut down the main street or the highway. So we are continuing with that again this year. So the reroute on the parade is actually going to be along Johnston Street instead of County Road 9. And that alleviates the need for police services to close that down, and it makes it so that people that are traveling along there aren't held up with the parade. I do apologize. That probably should have been a board conversation, but everything we're just kind of rushing through. And I do apologize if that is an issue of the board. I'd like to talk about it now.
I don't have any issue with it. Does anyone feel that that's going to cause any problems? I think it's actually probably better for safety anyway.
That's what we decided, especially if we were going, because we're starting at the arena, we would go up and then onto the county road. It was quite different when we were starting on the county road and having to travel along it.
Yeah.
But when we went up, we looked at it and we sort of thought, especially like the only place that was actually quite good for people to watch was at the school. And that isn't a place we would go past anyway.
Right.
So yeah, so hopefully this route won't cause problems. There'll be a bit of communication to just ensure that people know that there's that change, but we think we can manage it.
You'll put like in the Echo, we'll do like an ad with the route map, right? So that'll help communicate it to the folks that live there.
That's a great thing to note. We have written about it, but in the Echo, we will make, in all of our communications, we'll make sure that that's shared. So I thank you. That's a really good point.
So are you sort of set with the floats and?
Darcy's working diligently on the Santa float. She's coming along. Natalie has lots of people registered. Actually, she's got as many people registered for the parade now as she did in 2019 on the day of the parade. It doesn't necessarily mean that there'll be more because lots of people just showed up, but it definitely shows that there's a lot of interest. So that's super exciting. CCI, because of our proximity, is able to attend. And so that's the good portion of the budget that we had is going to be spent on that, which feels terrific.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm trying to think of anything else that Natalie told me. I guess she's just working on ensuring that we have all of the volunteers we need for the staging area. I think she's talked to you, Jen, maybe. Oh, no, she hasn't? Okay.
Not yet, but I'm more than happy to help.
Okay, so I think that that's kind of the last little piece. I know Brian, who's been really involved, will be there, and I think I will be there. So we should be okay. I mean, luckily, it's really the people that put in the big effort on this are the people that create the floats. So that's what I have to report on Natalie's behalf.
Are there any different COVID protocols that the board needs to be aware of for the parade that might change anything, or we need to communicate to our neighbors?
So I will share the information that we have in terms of COVID that we're sharing with all of the entrants. In all of the volunteers that are directly volunteering for the BIA have to meet the COVID requirements for the municipality. That means submitting their vaccination confirmation. But the assumption in talking to Amanda is that the individual floats will kind of manage their own protocols. We do make the recommendation to make sure it's a family if you're going to be unmasked, and that if you want to be closer, blah, 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 then you should wear a mask. So I think that's about it.
Okay.
Just the standard stuff, but it's the announcement came that this was all cool after we'd made our decision. So that was really great.
Yeah.
So we hope we've got Santa sorted, and hopefully it's all going to go smoothly.
It's a huge, huge job. So thank you. That's great. Thank you to you and Natalie and the team at the Echo for stepping in and doing so much work. That is great. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions about the parade?
Just the time and date. That it's December 4th.
That'd be good to know.
It's Saturday, December. It's always the first Saturday in December, so that'll be the 4th. And it usually, it depends on everything, but it usually leaves the yard about 1:15, hitting the main street 1:15 to 1:30.
Okay.
I think she's invited the mayor and council. I don't know, you guys have had a float in the past. I don't know what wonderful thing you're cooking up for this year.
I haven't been told yet.
Yeah, so I think it's all underway. I'm really trusting Natalie's got it, but I have been here watching her. So, I mean, not watching her, but seeing what she's doing. I don't want to sound like I'm hovering.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. If anybody else have any questions about the Santa Claus parade before we move on? No? Okay. Okay, so let's move on to the street decor update. So Jackie wasn't able to join us tonight, but she asked me to pass on some information. So we're making these wonderful scarves for all the trees and tree cages this year for the main street. And we are going to be hanging some really beautiful metal, nothing plastic, metal stars from snowflakes from the trees. And some of these scarves, Jackie bought these giant bolts of fabric. So what we need to do is cut them all out. And I don't know exactly what else is involved, but she needs some help cutting out all these scarves. And so tomorrow night, she has booked at Station on the Green at 5:30 p.m. for volunteers who want to join, because it's a nice big space that we've done this before, where if we have large bolts of fabric, we can cut out the scarves and things like that from the bolts of fabric. And if you are coming to Station on the Green tomorrow at 5:30, you do need to bring proof of vaccination and ID, because it is a municipal building. And so we will need to make sure that we have that at the door if you're thinking of joining. Is anyone here from the board able to join us tomorrow at 5:30-ish? Linda's going to be there. Possibly Sarah. I'm also maybe going to try. I'm kind of in the same boat. The other thing is, I have heard that a lot of the artists from the Mill Street Studio are going to be joining and volunteering, which is great to hear. So yeah, so we've got a good crew, and the requirement is to bring your own scissors because there's going to be a lot of cutting of fabric from what I understand. So that's the street decor update. I think the target date to get the street decor up before the parade, before everything happens, is the week of the 17th, which is the week following. So around the 17th kind of date or earlier if possible, if Jackie can get a crew of people to help tie scarves onto trees and hang snowflakes in trees. Jackie's also been working on a program to put the silhouette lighting on the buildings. That's something I think we'd like to present to the board, but as she's not here tonight, I think I might actually move that off into a meeting a little bit further down the road, so that we can discuss that. It's not something I think that we will probably do this year, but it's something that, we could look at in years to come. So that is the street decor update for the holidays. Oh, and the colors, if you're interested to know the colors of the fabric, it's quite great. It's red and fuchsia and pale blue. So it's got a bit of a nutcracker, kind of look to it. It's going to be quite charming and cute, and everything that Jackie does is beautiful when it comes to decor on the street. So we're looking forward to having her vision again. So that's the street decor. Any questions about street decor before we move on? No? Okay. Next thing is number 7 under events. I was going to talk about sort of our kickoff to Christmas. We were just talking about it, Jen, before you joined on. So we're just going to sort of summarize what we were saying about the kickoff, sort of what we've called it in the past is the shopping event, for lack of a better term. So this year there's going to be the kickoff will be around the 27th, 28th of November. We looked at doing it earlier, but there's a lot of moving parts this year. So we think that might be a little more doable, the 27, 28. And basically what that's going to entail is like a raffle, would we call it that? A raffle or a draw, similar to what we did last year. For when people purchase items in the store, they can fill out a ballot to win gift cards from the BIA. So in which they can spend anywhere in town. And the nice thing is we're not going to try and collect a piece of everybody's store and try to put it together, because that's really a lot of work. So we thought, why don't we just offer the gift certificates? Because sometimes people just appreciate that more, and they can be spent at any store or restaurant or service or anything like that in town. So that's that. The other thing is Heather was working on some stuff for that in terms of some activation on the street, but I'm not quite sure where she's at on that. The other thing is the gift wrapping station. So Heather has spoken to Natalie from the brewery, Natalie from the Echo, Heather from the brewery, and they're looking to do a gift wrapping station at the brewery on the 27th and also on the day of the Santa Claus parade. So the idea is gift wrapping with a donation, and we're going to get local charity groups to kind of man the gift wrapping stations. So for instance, and I'm not saying this is happening, I'm just giving out a local group like the Hort Society might take over one of the gift wrapping stations and gift wrap for folks and for a donation, and then they would collect that money at the end. So Natalie is kind of spearheading that as well. She's a busy lady right now, and working on that hopefully with Heather at the brewery. So that's what we're targeting for that sort of kickoff to Christmas shopping. Does that make sense, Jen? I don't know if I summarized that very well.
Yeah.
You got it? Okay. So that follows that. There is an update in that I see that the Chamber of Commerce has changed their White Wednesday. They've changed the date, not the date, excuse me, the naming. John, you sit on the chamber. Do you have any comments about the new name? I believe it's like a shop local Wednesday, shop local. Hold on, I'm going to try and find it because I'm going to make a mess of trying to remember exactly what it is.
I don't want to say because we haven't had it brought up at the meeting yet. So
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
get it.
So maybe I'm ahead of things.
No, that's okay. I'd just be afraid I would get it wrong because
Yeah. Okay. I think they sent an email out today to everyone.
see if I can find that.
Their sale is going to remain on November 24th, just for anyone. And all I want for Christmas is local. That is the new theme that they've decided is a little bit more appropriate for their event. And I think it's based on a local theme. So it's still the same date. They've just sort of twigged a bit of their marketing, and they're just changing a bit just to be a bit more sensitive to concerns in the community. Okay, so that's great. And that's the Chamber of Commerce update. Anything else that anybody has in terms of events? I feel like there's a lot of events going on right now, but
maybe we can just quickly, Linda and Jen, we have, since our last meeting, Lori and I have made the same presentation that we made regarding Creemore Nights. We've made it to the Creemore Community Foundation, and we've come up, they're so supportive, and we've come up with a couple really great ways for them to help us that they are keen on, which may, I mean, all of this is pie in the sky right now, but I mean, including applying for the youth employment grant and perhaps hiring somebody that they would then allocate to us for 20 hours a week to help with the implementation. So they were very excited about that as a concept, and just generally super supportive. They were happy that we were going to be working so closely with them, and that we would be flexible depending on what the state of the park is next summer. We also had a brief meeting with Amanda to ensure that she was fully informed and to get her feedback early on. She was really happy that we did that, and I feel like it was a great thing to do. Things that she is willing to help us with include equipment, best practices, staffing a minimum of 2
interns.
I think, of the interns, and some aid in grant writing, which would be the grant that Linda has brought forward and shown us. So we have made quite a bit of progress. Our next big item, I think, and it will be probably part of the budget conversation with our members and the municipality, is, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Anyway, we're going to do something else. It's going to be awesome. I don't know what I was going to say. I guess, yeah, we're going to talk to council as part of the budget conversation. So that's important. And
really would like to come to council on November 15th.
That's right.
But I know I've got 2 major events happening on the 16th, so I'm not 100% sure how that's going to pan out for me right now.
Well, we'll do what we can.
Plan.
Yeah. And then I think one of the other things that we're going to do is perhaps share the link to our last meeting when we made the presentation to this group.
That's right.
And then our whole BIA community can access that, but we'll really promote that they watch that and then give us feedback in terms of Creemore Nights, because we really don't want to be moving forward on this without their approval. And I do believe that that meeting, maybe we can give them like when to drop in and drop out of the meeting, and then they can look at the whole presentation and hear our conversation around it, and then they can add their remarks. I think that's really important, because if they don't want it, we don't want to do it. So that's kind of the update for now. I do know that we are already able to get some support from the brewery, and so that's exciting. And yeah, there's all kinds of excitement around the idea. So now we just have to make sure that we can maintain it and within our membership.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for reminding me about that. Okay. Any other event information that anyone would like to pass on at this time? Okay. Let's move. I think we can skip over public participation. Unless Kayla has somebody waiting in the waiting room or something like that.
No, not tonight.
Okay, great. So we'll, the financial report, Sarah, I don't know if that's really appropriate tonight or if we should just maybe postpone that to our next meeting.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I haven't pulled up new numbers, bills that have been paid since our last meeting, just to include money to Steve for garbage, the pumpkins, but nothing that sat outside of the budget. No decisions have been made. It's just kind of humming along. We do at some point have to consider our budget for next year. So I don't know if we want to have a little working group and then bring that back to the committee. But if you have any ideas that are going to cost money, send them, I guess, to myself or to Lori, and we can definitely put that into the package and the conversation around the budget. We are supposed to present the budget at part of our AGM. We're all feeling, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess the AGM, is it actually scheduled, Kayla? Is our AGM actually scheduled already?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Is it appropriate to move it to January?
If you'd like, it's the decision of the board.
Yeah, I think if we can defer till January and put it in the minutes, I know that that would give us some time to properly plan for a budget conversation and that sort of thing. I just don't think we're going to get there.
I don't think we're going to get there in December. I'll be honest with you. I think we're all a bit short-staffed and struggling to run our businesses. So if we can make a motion to move the AGM to January, I don't think that's unreasonable considering we're all running businesses during a very busy season.
I'll make that motion.
Anybody have any thoughts? Jen, did you have your hand up or are you just voting?
I'm just making the motion. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure you didn't have a question. Okay.
No.
So if Sarah, if you would like to make the motion that we'd like to move the AGM to January, I don't know, mid-January or something like that.
Yeah, and I prefer it be a little bit more mid than early because early is no help really.
No, I know. We'll all be kind of. Sorry, let me find my phone and get the calendar.
Well, I won't have the work done by early January.
No, exactly. Me neither. So, maybe by the 25th, does that make sense? Is that too late?
Willing, honestly, yeah.
The 25th of January would work really well for us.
Okay, let's do that.
Anybody have any opposition to that or any thoughts?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so Sarah, if you'd like to make that resolution that we move the AGM to January 25th, 7 p.m.
I will make that motion.
Okay, Jen, you said you'd like to second it? Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have a vote for all in favor or does anyone like to discuss it first? No? Okay, so let's take that to a vote. All in favor of moving the AGM to January? Okay, so that has been carried. Thank you very much. Okay, that's great. That just lifted a whole lot off some of our shoulders because I wasn't sure how I was going to get it all done. Okay, that's huge. Thanks, everyone. And while we're here and we're on the topic of budgeting, does it make sense to set down some plans for working on a budget, or shall we leave that to sort of early January to sit down and really parse out the budget and figure it all out? Or do you think there's a chance we can get it done in December?
I really love some direction from the board right now because then I can do a little bit of work. If so desired by the board, what I can do is take a look at our expenses over the past 2 years and create sort of a phantom budget just with all, if life continues the same way, sort of budget plus inclusion of Creemore nights. I can bring that back as a starting point. And then also, if anybody has anything they'd like to include in the budget, we can just have all the line items and go through and discuss them and it can be a fairly quick process because so much of what we do is just operations. But if people have brilliant ideas for next year that they want to bring forward, now's the time to tell us how much money that's going to cost, because we can try and figure out how to make it work.
Does it make sense to do that around sort of November 23rd to have maybe a 1.5 hour working group?
Yeah, I
By
think that
Zoom, I suppose we're not allowed to meet still yet. Does that make sense to you guys if we just get together and go through the budget? What do you guys think?
Yeah, and I can send it all out in advance so everybody's super familiar with the the financials are fairly up to date with the exception of the Christmas stuff. So I can tell you what the financials were for this year and the expectation for next year in advance, and then we can just walk through it really quickly.
Okay, that gives us kind of a high level sort of advance on it. So how do you guys feel about if we set a date now, just because it's hard for me to get together with all of you? So would November 23rd work? I'm just trying to think, like, I don't want it the week of the Santa Claus parade because that will be a crazy week. I don't know. Or do you want to wait till after the Santa Claus parade? I don't know.
No, I think the 23rd is good. It can be a very high level conversation, as you said.
Yeah. We just start putting things into sort of buckets and groups and stuff like that. And
if everybody can just talk to their neighbors or their friends and get a feel for priorities from the other members, we do try to circulate the budget, the draft budget to the members so that they're familiar with it and can comment on it. But the sooner that we incorporate their ideas, the better. So if before that meeting you have an opportunity to talk to people about things that they think that we need to really focus on, let's bring that to the table.
And then I think that gives us like a month or two, month and a half maybe, and then we could get together sort of early January or mid-January and really finalize the budget. And that'll give some time to sort of get some of our members involved if they have ideas or something they want to put forward. And also some of the other board members that are not here tonight, if they have anything they want to put forward for the budget, that would be helpful as well.
It would be so great to, we have so many wonderful new members and it's been such a hard time to connect with them. But so please, if, talk to them and ask them what they're looking for and what they want to do, because they could just be helping out as much as they want as well.
Okay. That's great. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. So we're going to move really right into number 10 now, unless somebody else would like to talk more about the budget. All right, so let's go into marketing. For my part, I'm struggling with the social media. So if anybody knows anyone we could hire for social media, if there's anyone listening tonight that has an idea or they know someone or they've hired someone for their business they could recommend, that would be really great. I'd love to talk to that person because I think we did have somebody helping us manage it for the past year and that's been really great. But as he's moved on to university, we just don't have somebody to fill his shoes. So really looking to provide somebody with an honorarium. If it's a community member and they'd like to do it as a volunteer position, that would be great. But if we could pay somebody an honorarium or a stipend to do it, we'd really appreciate that as well. So please bring that forward if you know anyone you can recommend. And also for the marketing, a lot of our marketing around the parade and the kickoff is going to happen at the Creemore Echo level. So I think that is really the best way to spend our money because a lot of these events are really focused on our local community, certainly the Santa Claus Parade and the Shop Local campaigns. So we're going to be working closely with Sarah and her team to put some ads together to put that in the Echo and some posters as well for the parade And we're trying to wrap everything into one sort of communication poster so that we have the shopping and the draw and the gift wrapping and the parade and everything, I think, all on one piece. And Sarah's helping us with some of the graphic design. So thank you very much for
I
that.
will also send out, similar to what I did at Halloween, where I posted like the banner
square.
and the
Yeah.
square so that each business could use it. And hopefully if they put it, that's the most effective social media that we can get, is if everybody is sharing from their own accounts.
Yeah, I think this year the Santa Claus Parade won't need a lot of communication in a way, because I think people are so excited to have it back that it'll be great, because I think people are going to be looking for it this year instead of us trying to tell people to come. They're going to be asking about when to come. So it's going to be pretty exciting. So that's a bit of the marketing update for now. It's really just focused on those two events. New business. We have something here called virtual events, Southern Georgian Bay Tourism. Is that anybody here put that on? Kayla, did you put that on?
Yep, that was just the memo received from Amanda. She sent it an email.
Okay, perfect. Do we, is that going to be included in the minutes?
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's taking place November 24th.
Right. Okay.
Take a look here and bring it up if you'd like.
Certainly. So Southern Georgian Bay Tourism usually does some really great events on local tourism. Unfortunately, they often do them this time of year, which is hard for a lot of us to participate in. While you're doing that, oh, you've got it already. Okay, perfect. Oh yes, the virtual mini tourism. Okay. I did attend this one year, and it was really informative. However, it is on November 24th at 9:30, so that's something just to bear in mind. If you would like to register for the tourism mini conference, trends in tourism marketing and how to improve your digital footprint. Sounds like amazing information. Hopefully Amanda will be there and can maybe give us a bit of a rundown on what takeaways that she had from that, because I think some of us may struggle to leave our businesses during that time. Okay, that's great. Thank you. We'll be sure to add that to the minutes. The other thing in new business, I don't know if Dan Perot's on the call tonight or watching us, but I'd love to put in a request for street cleaning, and hopefully before the Santa Claus Parade. It's the leaves and the muck are getting worse and worse. So if we could get you to come and clean up the streets, I think the Santa Claus Parade team would certainly appreciate it. And I think the BIA businesses would too. So I will try and send an email to you, but that's just a heads up. It's coming your way. What else? Oh, I also had a meeting with Mara and Rosalind Workman last week regarding the buildings at 143 and 145 Mill Street. So the buildings that are proposed to be taken down. And they wanted to follow up with us because I know I had talked to a lot of the members in the summer, and there were some concerns about the debris from the demolition and the sound and the dust going into certainly the pub's HVAC systems. And the pub had some concerns about their patio and various things like that. So we had worked quite a lot on that, and also the parking situation, because there are only going to be, I think it's 10 parking spots. And so we have requested that more parking spots are there for the retail side of things. It's not going to happen. So basically 8 spots are for the residents. There's 4 apartments, and 2 spots are guest parking, or they could be retail. So if there's a couple of retail locations or one retail location, they could have 2 spots in the back behind the building. So that's what's happening with that. Nothing really changed, but that was our request. However, a couple of the other requests that some of the BIA brought forward was that they wanted to make sure that the building really integrated into Mill Street, and that it looked like it was part of the Mill Street integration. And part of that was making sure that the windows came out to the front of the street, and that it sort of matched the pub and some of the other buildings that were in line, Home Hardware. And so that has changed, and they are bringing the building out. It was set back a bit on a sort of an angle. And now they've decided to bring that forward so that it will sort of integrate a little bit better onto the street. So that's really great. I do know that the owners of that new building plus the pub all sat down with the planning department and had a very productive meeting and discussed a lot of the issues, because as their neighbors, they have a lot more going on between them when there's going to be a large construction site. They agreed to hoarding around the demolition and the construction as well. And they said they would do whatever they could to minimize the impact to the BIA businesses, and wanted to be a very good neighbor and really could appreciate what we were going to go through, because there's going to be a lot of noise and construction especially in the demolition. And they wanted to do everything they could to minimize the impact on that. So it sounds like they're really willing to work with the BIA and the planning department at Clearview Township. And we really appreciate that. Actually, I think it ended up to be a really good thing. So there's nothing really negative that I think came out of that meeting. It was a great meeting. We did talk a lot about parking. I had, when I had Mara and Rosalind's ear, it was really great to talk about parking on Mill Street and some of the things we all struggle with and the challenges of parking. And we talked a lot about overnight parking and where the tenants of the building owners on Mill Street, because there is no overnight parking on Mill Street, but there's also no municipal overnight parking. So there's nowhere for people to park that live in an apartment on Mill Street that they want to park overnight. So, because Station on the Green, you can't park overnight. So we talked a lot about that. We talked about some of the new proposals that they're looking at. We talked about maybe next year, part of their planning be really to study the parking situation on Mill Street and downtown Creemore and really come up with better solutions, because as we add more businesses, as we add more people and we do more events, parking is going to continue to be a real problem for us. And so I think they really understood. I think it was a good moment for us to really discuss that and for them to really listen. And I really felt that they listened. And I think we're going to follow up with that in the new year and hopefully come up with a parking plan, because I don't see it going the other way. I think we're just going to constantly need more and more parking. We talked about electric vehicle parking, we talked about all these kinds of things, because we don't have any of that here. And so there's some proposals. I don't know if any of them are public yet, so I don't want to mention them on this forum, but I can assure you that that's something that they're concerned with, and hopefully they're looking, I think they see now the urgency of it, and I think they're going to be able to act on it probably next year, not this year, but next year they're looking to put that as part of their planning. So that was my update on, ended up to be mostly a parking conversation, but we did discuss the buildings at 143 and 145. If you have any questions about that, I can hopefully answer them, or I don't know when they're going to come down. The permit has not been issued for the demolition just yet. So there was the issue with, now is it sewage in Creemore or water? I know that there was a block on all new building permits, and they didn't issue the demolition permit because the building permit couldn't be issued because of the hold on new builds for, is it sewers here?
I think
Yeah,
it's sewer.
Yeah, it's sewer.
Sewer capacity, right? Yeah. So there was a hold on all of that. So that's why there hasn't been any movement in terms of the demolition. The planning department is recommending that they do the demolition in the winter, in the January-February timeframe, because they think that would minimize the impact to the Mill Street businesses. And I agreed with them. The last thing I wanted to hear was that they were going to demo a building in December when we're doing like all parades and all kinds of other stuff, and we have a big mess to contend with. So I think January and February, they felt that would be the least amount of impact and also the least amount of dust coming out from the building. They felt it would be a little bit better for people.
Makes sense.
That's the update on that. So what else? Okay, that was my new business update. Oh, the other thing was I've spoken to Tom Patterson, and he wanted to hear if there was any update on the garbage bins from the BIA board, if the BIA board had any sort of position that he'd like, to learn more about, so that we could talk more to Simcoe County about the garbage situation and the bins. How are you guys managing with the bins? Do you have any feedback or anything you want to tell me that I could add or mention to Tom?
I'm not having the same problems because I have the yard at the back.
You have your
So-
own.
Yeah, well, I have the yard as well at the back, so it's a little different for me than it is for many of you.
Mhm.
I'm in the similar position where, I mean, I don't love where I'm going to have to keep them in the winter, but I at least have space, which so many businesses don't.
I know.
Linda, how about,
Yeah,
how about
I
you?
have no idea where I'm going to put them.
Yeah.
at the
Yeah, where
moment.
are they now? Are they at your house or?
Well, so I brought the two that were needed. I brought them to the store today, and they're just going to have to stay out there, I guess. I seriously don't know where else to put them.
Yeah, so a
Like,
lot of us.
I don't have a back. there's
So
no
this
place.
is what I talked to Tom about at good length, and I think he does really understand actually, and he's helping us out quite a lot. It's just that we don't have that back alley, and a lot of us don't have that back space. Like Jen and Sarah are lucky enough to have a bit of a yard in the back, but you and me, for instance, we don't, and many others don't as well. Like Malin, Chez Michelle, the folks next to
I
me.
have a
at,
back area.
oh, you're here.
I'm here. Hi. Yeah.
Hi.
I have a back area. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
have like this week it didn't really affect us because we didn't put out as much recycling. We were able to fit everything except for our cardboard into the recycling bins. We're using the extra one from the apartment upstairs. Normally we just kind of go to the BIA bin if we have an overflow, which is probably what's going to happen. We really need one more. If I could have one more set, I would be okay, I think, even in the summertime. The green bin's a different story because we do have a lot of food waste, but at least for the garbage and recycling, if I had one more set, I would be okay.
There are a bunch at the funeral home, like right on the funeral home lawn. Like, does anybody have a clue who those are intended for?
I think they belong to the residents, to the apartment buildings, and they just don't need as much, and it's so big, so they're just left standing there.
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking, that they could be reallocated, but
I could secretly sneak down and I could call them again.
reallocated?
I don't think you can. I think that they all have.
Yeah, they're all registered to an address.
Registered. Yeah.
That's what I thought. And they
Yeah,
have like a numbering system or something on them.
Yeah.
If I can just have one more set, I think that we would be okay. It's really the green bin. Yeah, I can't get commercial removal at the back of our restaurant. If I could, I would. So I'm not really sure how to make that better, but we're just dealing with the two right now. And then, yeah, if you can ask Tom if we can have another set, that would make me happy.
Tom is not the person to ask. I think we'd have to go through Simcoe County. So I think also Simcoe County is proposing smaller bins. I can't imagine anyone on the BIA really wants a smaller bin because I think a lot of us probably have a lot of recycling and things. But they're proposing some smaller bins starting in January, I believe, that you can sign up for. But I think that's mostly for like seniors or people that struggle with the really large bins. I think we're probably the opposite. A lot of us, like the restaurants and things, might need more. So certainly
it's an exchange.
Or yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I have a feeling the people that didn't want really large bins, they would probably return them, and maybe you could get some of those from Simcoe County. But I think you'd have to talk to Simcoe County directly about that. But from Tom's perspective, he just wanted to know what we felt about it. Did we feel it was a problem? Was your garbage picked up? I know there was some problem about the garbage sitting under the trees on Mill Street and the truck not being able to access that. So we have to somehow communicate that. It's kind of frustrating because I don't know how to communicate always that with all the tenants and all the buildings. I think Simcoe County needs to do a better job of communication on these things. And certainly they've never communicated with the BIA either. So a lot needs to be kind of worked out there. And same with me, I have struggled with a bit of mine just because I don't really have a place to put them. So it's always a little bit hard. The other thing is I think we might need more cardboard than what I can put in my bin. So I'm kind of like with you, Malin. It's hard to get all the cardboard in one of those bins for recycling.
You have to cut it in pieces.
Yeah, I do, but I have so much. Sorry.
I know, that's what I mean. Like, it's impossible. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, it might be something that we can look at in the budget, which would be just opening up the bin for all of our membership and having weekly pickup. If it really is problematic, that's really a good conversation for us to have. The cost, in the past, we've charged members if they'd like to have a key for a year. The fee's $75 annually. But if there's many members that are struggling with this, we might want to look at it as a budget item just to help out with this. It feels a little bit silly because we already are paying for garbage removal, but you know, we just need our businesses. It needs to be easy. We just can't be worrying about this. So if we have to collectively do something, you know, that's something we could look at in the budget conversation.
Yeah, and we do have to talk to the people. I went down to that bin last week and there's a lot of garbage in there that's not BIA garbage. People are just dumping all kinds of food waste in there, and I'm pretty sure it's not restaurant food waste.
It's happening in mine too.
Yeah.
Ours should be locked.
Yeah, we didn't even dump this week.
Yeah, I think there's a problem with the lock.
Well,
I think that they don't lock it back up. I know
I did
mine,
try-
after they dump them, they don't lock them back up.
So I went to lock it back up, Jen, because you're right, they don't, and the lock is broken, I think so.
Okay. Well, I will send an email to the garbage company because that's really problematic if people who are paying to put their garbage in it cannot. So that's not okay.
It was a lot of household waste in there. It wasn't full, mind you, but there was quite a lot of household waste that I could tell was not.
That's not fair.
That's
not BIA waste for sure. And that was last week because I went to get some cardboard over there.
Okay, I will, I'll check in with Steve on that, and then I will also see if they can replace that. I do know that this is going out to the universe, all of the garbage containers in Simcoe County that are managed have the same key. So it wouldn't be that hard for somebody to get a key.
I was wondering if maybe, and I don't know if this is even doable right now because we're all so busy, but maybe in the new year we could consider, and it's going to be kind of tricky, but some sort of sign that we kind of put a stake in the ground that says, this is BIA garbage, you know, please do not put any of your household waste here or something like that.
I have had a similar sign. That's why there's graffiti all over mine now. Because I have had people kind of fight back with the message, and it's frustrating. It's like, I'm paying for this, you know, and even telling them to not let your dog poop right in front of it so that when my girls go to take things out, they're not stepping in it and tracing it back in the store. But I know it's frustrating.
Garbage is always a frustration. Garbage and parking. Honestly, we could spend
garbage
every meeting on
at
garbage
the
and parking.
station, is that managed by the Horticultural Society? Do you know?
The garbage at the station, I believe,
At the station?
township. I think it's Parks and Rec.
I think that Steve played a active role with some of the station garbage. I don't know.
Okay.
I think I can't really remember where the garbage cans were, but I'm fairly certain that when he was the caretaker of the station on the green, that he was fairly active in monitoring those.
Okay.
But I don't know going forward. I assume that the foundation will have some kind of an agreement in terms of who will be managing garbage within the park. And then as usual, I think the station on the green would manage their own garbage.
Okay. All right. So that gives me some feedback for Tom. And if anybody has any issues or you're talking to your neighbors and there's a really big issue, just let me know, because I know Tom's trying to kind of collectively put some information together from the business community from Creemore and also just the general Creemore community about the garbage situation, be able to present that to Simcoe County. Okay. So that's garbage. And is there anything else under new business or unfinished business that I'm forgetting or that somebody would like to kind of mention, or just let me know, or anything else you want to talk about? Nope. I hear crickets. So that means no more new business. Great. Okay. You can tell we're winding down the year, right? When the new business section is like really sparse. Okay. So I think that's it for tonight. Thank you, everyone. Malin, it's so great that you joined us. Sorry, I didn't know you were there.
I snuck in late. I didn't want to make a commotion or interrupt the meeting. Apologies.
hopefully you got everything, but if you didn't, just give me a call and I'll update you on some if you've missed anything. Okay, and I think that's it. If there's nothing else, we can go ahead and make a motion to adjourn the meeting. And our next meeting, by the way, is December 14th. We all look tired now. We're all going to be in a really great state on December 14th, right? We're going to be like hair on fire, like running around. All right. So shall we make a motion to adjourn? Who would like to make that motion? Jen would like, and John would like to second it. Thank you so much. And would we take that to a vote for those who would like to adjourn the meeting? I think everyone, right? All right. Thanks very much. So thanks very much, everyone. We got lots going on. It's been a heavy year, and yeah, we're gonna do really great things by the end of the year. All right. Well, good luck in your businesses in the next 2 weeks and next month, because I know everyone's got a lot on their shoulders. So all the best to all of you, and to everybody.